Roberts. So we would like to ask you to make a brief opening statement, and then we will go to questions.
Yeah, obviously we're very excited, obviously, to be here, part of a historic Sugar Bowl. So got a great opponent. I think Ole Miss has been very explosive on offense. Got some great players. There's a huge challenge in front of us, but it should be a great ball game.
All right, we will start with John Werner from the WACO Tribune Herald.
Hey, Coach.
Hey.
What do you see from Matt Corral, and what's the defense going to have to do to maybe contain him a little bit?
Yeah, Matt's he's got a live arm. He's athletic. He can extend plays. He create plays. I think sometimes he's got eyes on the sides of his head. He sees receivers. I don't know how he's seeing them sometimes. He's very impressive quarterback. So one of the things we got to do is make sure we got to make him a little uncomfortable. We're going to have to pressure him. We've got to have an effective rush, because if he sits back there and has time to go to a second, third progression and do that stuff, he's dangerous, and he'll just keep the sticks moving. So we got to be an effective pass rush, and then the biggest thing is keeping him in the pocket's another thing. Not let him extend plays, get out of the pocket, and find those receivers down the field.
Okay, we'll go ahead. We can go ahead to Curtis Quillen from KCNTV in Waco.
Hey, Coach. I believe you were Coach Aranda's first hire when he took the job at Baylor. How long have you known him? What's that relationship like? And what was it that led to you saying yes so quickly to joining this staff?
Yeah, I guess I've known him for about 20 years. Yeah, probably goes back to around 99, 2000. I think one thing is just it's been a relationship that's kind of been built off the fact that we're both the kind of football junkies, love talking, love studying the game. And then, obviously the opportunity to get back with him was huge. I mean, it was a no-brainer at that point for where I was at, to be around him, know what type of person he is, and how he's going to treat players. And he's a very genuine person. He's one of the true nice guys in his profession. And, I was very excited about the opportunity. So to me, it wasn't even a second thought. I said yes before he told me even his salary. How about that one?
Okay, next we'll go with David Yubin from The Athletic.
Hey.
Yeah, when you sort of look at stopping this offense, what are sort of the principles that you guys follow as a defense to slow down this spread?
Yeah, first of all, it's like any other time, is that it's about stopping the run. The one thing they do have, they got incredible running backs. Ely and Snoop are really good football players. So they got a running back core that's pretty outstanding, and it starts with running the football. You got to do that, and then with him, it's a lot about they go so fast. So the biggest key is really make sure you get your cleats in the turf and get lined up. So many times their tempo of their game is so much faster than anything else you're seeing, that you flip on the game film and so many people can't even get lined up. A lot of explosive comes off of that, and then they wear people out just because of their tempo. Guys getting tired and not rushing the quarterback, and then just letting receivers open. So that's gonna be huge. I mean, it really is. But it's adjusting to the tempo of the game, realizing how fast it's gonna go, and then being able to stop the run and get us in some situations where we know he's gonna throw the football. We can tee it up. We can go after him, and then we'll have a much better chance at that point to have some rush integrity and be able to keep him in the pocket and put him in tight quarters and make him throw the ball in tight windows.
Okay, next we'll have Ted Lewis with the New Orleans Advocate. Be sure to unmute.
It's Ron. Sort of along the lines of the earlier question. You were Dave's boss.
Oh, you kind of got muted or something.
We lost you, Ted.
I'm sorry.
There you go. I heard you there.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, I got you.
I'm sorry. You were his boss, and now I lost him again.
I get about the 2 or 3 words in there and then it kind of,
Yeah, I think it's your connection, Ted. Let's go to Jerry Hill with Baylor Bear Insider.
Hey, Ron, you talked about the pass rush and stuff. At what point, or did it just take time for that defensive line to really develop and become what they've become?
yeah, I mean, we're fairly young up front, and then obviously, great players. We had talent. We knew that. And I think Coach Johnson's done a tremendous job with them, obviously developing them. I think what they have developed into goes to one, how hard they work. It's not just a bunch of talented guys. They are talented, but they've done a tremendous job of working at their technique and fundamentals on a daily basis. And they've really went into mastering their craft. And that's been huge. That's been really huge.
Okay, Kay Longquist, can you please let us know your affiliation?
Ron, you got both Kailyn Barnes and Christian Morgan back a little bit you got Christian Morgan back as well as Kailyn Barnes back for the Oklahoma State game in the Big 12 championship. Played a limited, but they still played for you. And the fact that you've got them a month later, are they pretty much healthy that they can give you a full game, or what can you expect from those two?
They could both. I think they both could give a full game. I think they're capable of that. Christian probably would be the one that we would have any concerns about. How much he goes, how long he goes. It's really kind of a lot of what situations gets in him. So I think they're both healthy and they're both ready to play. I also there's a chance that McVay stepped up and had an outstanding football game in the championship game. So I think they're both available and they're both ready to go.
Okay, we have Jack Allen with KCNCTV in Waco.
Hey, Coach. Jalen Petrie has made such a big impact on this defense. I was wondering if you could give some insight into what's made him so successful this year. Is there something technically that he's really improved on? And just what kind of an impact does he make on this defense?
Yeah, well, I first saw this that Jalen obviously is a really good football player, and he's got natural, and he's got ability and all that stuff. The thing that makes Jalen what he is and such a good player is his work ethic, his habits. He's got a tremendous football IQ, but he puts the time in for that. That guy's in our office every night watching film. I'm every night. He's there every night for a couple hours, and he's watching film. And he's got a tremendous football IQ. When somebody lines up in an offense, motion a guy or cut a split from a wide receiver, he knows what the play's going. And the biggest probably value he brings to us is that he's telling everybody else what's going to happen. Great, tremendous communicator on the football field. X cuts a split inside the numbers, and he's yelling out the routes. Telling the corners what's coming and where they got to get to. And so it's his leadership ability, but his football intelligence has really been able to, share that with the other football players on the field. That's what allowed us to elevate our level.
Okay, let's try Ted Lewis again with the Advocate, New Orleans.
All right.
Yes, can you hear me this time?
Yeah.
Great. You were talking earlier about working with Dave. You were his boss. Now he's your boss. How's that kind of relationship been? How much leeway, if that's the right word, does he give you at directing the defense? Because now he has head coaching responsibilities. Also on Petrie, how much do you think? What do you think about so many guys opting out for both? He came back. He's playing. What does that say about him, and how much of an example has that set for the rest of the team?
Okay. The first one. I'm not just steering back. Okay. I think the relationship's good. Again, as far as his, he's got a lot of things on his plate. Obviously, sitting here as a Power 5 head football coach, as far as where he steps, most of his focus is on our players and recruiting. He does a tremendous job recruiting, but probably does a better job actually with our football player, our current team, just to making sure on a daily basis that he's putting them first, and he has a lot of daily meetings with our players and stuff. So he's a very busy person. So obviously, I'm thankful for that, the opportunity, the amount of trust he's put into me to lead the defensive side of the ball. And obviously, I say it all the time, though, I wish he was in our meetings more. I enjoy talking football with him. That was, that's obviously one of the things that I love doing. So When you look at Jalen, his ability, to not opt out, I don't know if that was ever a question with him. The kid, he loves football, so I think if you put the ball down in the park and said on Sunday afternoon at noon and said that there was going to be a pickup game at the park and there was going to be some pretty good players and let's go see how what we can do, I think he'd turn around and play again on Sunday.
Okay, let's go with Darby Brown from KWTX-TV in Waco.
Hey, Coach. Earlier this week, Coach Grimes had talked about how, the experience of the defense actually made it pretty difficult in the beginning for them to sort of dive into that offensive turnaround. But then there was a moment when they kind of caught up. And obviously we've seen that this season. How do you feel like that group has then elevated the defense the rest of this season?
I think they've done an outstanding job. There is not just on a daily practice habits where iron sharpens iron, and then as they get better, they make us better. There's that part of it, but there is a true confidence. I think it gives a defensive player when he goes off the field, when he's seen an offensive line run the football, when he's seeing Abe Smith breaking tackles, or Tristan, making guys miss and moving the football. That energy and that confidence is contagious. And I think it's allowed us to feed off of them.
Okay, we have time for one more. Curtis Quillen with KCNTV in Waco.
Coach, Darby just kind of touched on it. It was kind of an offensive wholesale change after last season, but during spring ball and during fall camp, you mentioned that for the defense, it was pretty much just picking up where you guys left off. What did you guys see during that 2-7 season that you liked so much defensively that you were able to build on to get to this point?
There wasn't a lot of things I saw in a 2-7 season I liked, but no, no, what I saw there, obviously it was a tough year for the players, tough year for the coaches. It's just tough to go through that, to have people to believe, there's a lot of questions that are open. I thought I'll say this, that I'll give all that credit to Coach Aranda for keeping this group together and keeping them focused, and his tremendous job of putting the players first allowed us to recover from that 2-7 season. So there, what I did see from the defensive side is that, our kids had, I loved our work ethic. I loved our intelligence level. I think we got to use that as our benefit. Is that Baylor is a great academic institution, is an unbelievable academic institution, and the character kids we get, that we've got to use that to our advantage. And so that was one of the things I talked about, was that, hey, we got to put more on their plate. Our kids can handle it. That's usually one of the best assets they have is their minds. So we do a lot more checking at the line of scrimmage by off of formations and situations, and I'm putting a lot on their plate. And why? It's because they can handle it, and that's a lot of fun to do as a football coach. Is that it opens the door up to put you in a lot of really good situations because your kids are intelligent enough to handle it. And they did a good job of communication across the board. So I saw the work ethic, the attitude, the intelligence factor, and just a tremendous character of our guys is what I leaned on to say. Is there's just a great place to coach and a great group of young men to have.